Welcome to the Methodical Marketer's Guide to Greatness. Learn how to use what you have to get to where you want to be in marketing and business. As part of our What Makes People Buy series, we started off by looking at the criteria that needs to be met before someone makes a purchase. First, they need to know that they have a problem. They need to understand what life can be like when that problem is solved. They need to know why you're the best solution to solving that problem. They need to have the means to purchase your product or make use of your service. And lastly, the perceived value they will receive must be high enough to warrant spending the money. We've already discussed the first criteria in an article on my website, and in this recording, we're going to have a quick look at the second, helping your potential customer understand what life can be like when that problem is solved. Now, many new inventions and services come about because the old way of doing something wasn't working well, and a solution was needed to make it better, easier, or cheaper. But if that's how things have always been done, why would someone try to change it if they don't know how much better life could be? For example, if you didn't know that using a spreadsheet to track your project progress wasn't the best way, or you didn't know that your skin doesn't have to be oily, or you didn't know that you have to spend hours baking cookies from scratch, you wouldn't look for a better or different way to do things. You'd want to stick to what you know because you didn't know there was something better to do. As mentioned, the first criteria that needs to be met before someone makes a purchase is they need to be aware of the fact that they have a problem. We do this by curating our messaging, which means that we are intentional with what we say in our marketing material. We only include the information and statements that are relevant to our intended audience. So, once this is done, once we've made our potential customer aware of the problem that they have, we move on to the second step. We need to amplify this problem by helping them understand what life can be like when this problem is solved. It's not enough for your potential customer to know they have a problem. They need to actually want to solve it. Otherwise, they'll just know that things could be better, but they won't feel the need to do anything about it. How do we do this? Again, by curating our marketing message and content. What does this look like? So for this, we need to go back to the sales funnel and think about where our potential customer is in the funnel. Before they knew they had a problem, they were really high at the top of the sales funnel. Now that they're starting to realize this problem, they're moving down the funnel. This means that your content should still focus on the problem and how it affects your potential customer's life, like when we created content to achieve the first criteria. But now your content needs to show how much better life could be once the problem is solved, which effectively creates the desire for change, the desire to make that vision of what their life can be a reality. I'm not going to share an example in this recording, but if you want to see what this kind of messaging and content looks like, have a look at the What Makes People Buy Part 2 article on my website. Lastly, let's quickly talk about what type of content works best here. The kind of content you use for this kind of messaging depends largely on your industry and what you're selling. This kind of messaging is particularly effective if you use user-generated content, but that's not always relevant to every kind of business, product, or service. Regardless, whether it's user-generated content, infographics, how-to videos, webinars, or something else, at this stage, your messaging should still not be about you or your brand. Your messaging should be about the problem and showing how big a difference solving this problem can make. Notice in the example on my website how it doesn't cover features, price, or anything like that, because people aren't ready for that kind of information yet. That kind of information comes later. Right now, no matter what kind of content you make sure that it shows how much better life could be when the problem is solved.